Monday Night Football takes us to New Orleans this week, where the Saints will host the Baltimore Ravens. New Orleans a 3-point favorite on BETDAQ. 51 is the total in this game. Now, incredibly, the Saints have lost 2 straight home games. They now sit at 4-6 overall. They're worse than nearly everybody thought they were going to be heading into the season. However, if they can just pick up a win on Monday night, they will reclaim first place in the NFC South. We know the South has been the worst division in football this year. So this is a big game for the Saints. Also a big game for the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens currently sit at 6-4, right in the thick of the AFC playoff race, but they need a win. So it's very important for both teams. Should be a good competitive game on Monday night. We have to start by asking just why the Saints are favored here. After all, Baltimore has been better this season. Not only do they have a better record and a much better defense, they've actually scored more points than the Saints this year. So based on raw production, the Ravens also have a better offense. So why then are the 4-6 Saints a 3-point favorite? One reason and one reason only: the understandable and justifiable respect that bettors have for the Saints in the Superdome. The Saints at home have been a great bet ever since Sean Payton and Drew Brees teamed up. 16-5 against the spread in their last 21 home games against teams with winning records. 25-9 against the spread in their last 34 home games overall, despite being favored in 30 of those games. Look, the Saints are favored at home every week. They nearly always win and nearly always cover. That is why they're a 3-point favorite in this situation. Now, nobody likes betting on the Saints at home more than me. I've gone to the well frequently over the past 2 or 3 years, and it has served me well. And listen, Baltimore's covered just once in their past 6 road games, and you look at the Saints' struggles at home. We mentioned they've lost 2 straight at home. I think those struggles a bit overblown. Now look, last week's result was a shocker, no doubt about it. The Cincinnati Bengals went into New Orleans and just dominated the game. Nobody saw that coming, least of all me. But you look at the game before that, the Saints lost in overtime to a desperate San Francisco team, and the home game prior to that, they pulled out a 21-point win over the Green Bay Packers, who just may be the best team in the NFC. So I think people might be making a bit too much out of the Saints' supposed struggles at home. All that being said, listen, the Baltimore Ravens, I believe, an underrated, undervalued, and underappreciated team. The Ravens lurking at 6-4. They're very good on both sides of the ball. Top 8 in both points scored and points allowed. They're especially good on defense, 4th in the NFL in points allowed. Now, Baltimore does struggle a bit in the secondary, and the Saints average 300 pass yards per game. So if you're a Ravens fan or a Ravens bettor, that is a big concern here. Will that Baltimore secondary be able to slow down? We know they're not going to be able to stop Drew Brees because nobody does. Will they be able to slow down Drew Brees and this vaunted Saints passing attack? If they can, I believe the Ravens have an excellent chance of winning this game because the Saints very mediocre on defense this season, 22nd in points allowed, and Gary Kubiak has done excellent work with this Baltimore offense. Kubiak, who of course was the longtime head coach in Houston, this is his first year coaching offense in Baltimore. The Ravens 8th in points scored. Joe Flacco has looked good, but it's really been the running game in Baltimore that I've been impressed with. After losing Ray Rice to start the season and then seeing Bernard Pierce go down to injury. Now, Pierce is back now, but he's been supplanted in the starting lineup by Justin Forsett, a guy who's been a third down back throughout his career, a guy who was cut by the Jacksonville Jaguars at the end of last season. He has emerged to become the lead back in Baltimore, and he's done a great job, as has that Baltimore offensive line. The Ravens 9th in the NFL in rush yards per game. So look, maybe you can see where I'm going with this. Even though I love betting on the Saints in the Superdome, and it's generally a bad idea to bet against the Saints in the Superdome, I have a funny feeling that the Baltimore Ravens just might be a better team, and they might be a good bet as a 3-point underdog in this situation. Mentioned on our live show we do on Sunday that I feel like this game here sort of baiting people just like me, people who love betting on the Saints in the Superdome, baiting those people to bet on the Saints. They're just a 3-point favorite here. Baltimore not known for having explosive offense. I'm not going to take the I'm not going to take the bait this time. Have a slight lean towards Baltimore here. Now, would it surprise me at all if the Saints came away with a 20-point win? No, it would not surprise me in the least. This is obviously not one of my favorite games. Not even one of my favorite games on this Monday night, as I like the Buffalo Bills side of that Bills-Jets game more than I like the Baltimore side here. But I do like the Baltimore side. Have a funny feeling the Ravens are going to go into the Superdome and hand the Saints their third consecutive home loss. So Baltimore +3, my recommendation here. Also a lean towards under 51.